Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings, so not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. And I always advise that you use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Moon card, right? So this kind of seems to be a bit of a story of several parts, doesn't it? Because over the last few weeks, you've had some quite challenging messages, right? So first of all, the Moon card this week is really trying to highlight to you where maybe the rose-tinted glasses need to come off. The fact that we've just had that powerful full moon, I mean, at the time I'm recording this, we've not long had the powerful full moon. So that in itself will have highlighted something to you. And because it was in the sign of Aquarius, yes, it offered you a trine energy, but it also shows you what you need to now be ready to complete. The fact that you have this Moon card here as well, if I'm completely honest with you, I feel like this week you're going to discover something that you are afraid of, or maybe some deep-rooted fear that is actually driving or steering things that you were unaware of. I think in a lot of ways, Gemini, this week you're going to have to get really real with yourself. This will probably see you being, or needing to actually be very conscious or very aware of needing to be very aware or very conscious of what is actually going on those deeper levels of self. So your foundation card is the Strength card, right, with the Moon card. So this week, on a really sort of mundane physical level, you have to look out for your physical body, and specifically in terms of water retention. If you suffer from that sort of thing, you get swollen ankles, etc. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice. Obviously check in with a professional if you have anything like that, because it can be anything, right? But this week that might be something that you need to look out for. The other thing, even though it's the Moon card, I almost get the sense, because it's the Strength card as well, this could be a week where you reach for something that you feel like is giving you comfort but is actually not doing you any favors. This could be anything from, sex, drugs, rock and roll, alcohol, whatever your personal vice may be. Now, even though it's not the Devil card, I don't feel like it's an addiction, but it is an escapism. So, if you are a continued subby, you know the Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the comments. Before we start, let's give them a shuffle. So for your actions and options this week, you get the Three of Pentacles, right? So there's something coming back around this week, right? So this week, I almost get the sense, actually, whatever it is that you're learning or whatever piece of information or advice is given to you, there's a part of you that's like, I'm not entirely sure I want to hear this. And if I'm completely honest with you, because you've got the Moon card there, remember the Moon card is cyclic. The number 3 itself is cyclic. And the message really, for me, feels very clear this week. Whatever it is that you keep ignoring is going to keep coming up until you deal with it or until you acknowledge it. This is not about brushing it under the carpet. It's not about putting your hands up and saying, fine, then I'm wrong, and that's, that's it. It's the end of, I admit that I'm wrong. It's not about you being blamed for something. It's about you catching yourself in a pattern or a habitual, a pattern or a habitual occurrence that keeps happening because you refuse to look at the root challenge or issue. So this week you're going to have to get really real with yourself, my Geminis, all right? Now, you are a sibling air sign to me, so I care for you guys a lot, but this week you can't flit around it, right? As air signs, we tend to find clever ways of, getting around things or over things or under things. This week, you're not going to have that luxury. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Eight of Wands. This, quite frankly, looks like you are being invited to something that's happening at night time. Now, this is a lot of communication that's happening for you, and some of it looks like it's confusing communication. So this could be you trying to sort through something that somebody says to you, or maybe something that is ongoing in your life you're having to get really clear on. And I'll be honest, with that Eight of Wands there, it looks like this is going to be a week of a lot of communication, but not all of it necessarily making a lot of sense. Now, your ruler Mercury has just gone through that powerful opposition to Neptune, which means that you're now dealing with the aftermath of all of the communication that has been a bit kind of like, hang on a sec, wait, what are we doing? What are we saying? What is... For those of you that are working for somebody else, a specific request that is made this week almost feels like it's designed to trip you up. And I don't think that is necessarily the case, but I am going to say this to you. Clarify, or at least manage the expectations of what you're being asked at the moment. The reason I say this, because it looks like this could be a teaching moment for everybody, or a teaching and learning moment for everybody, but providing somebody spots the mistake and says, look, we need to fix this now. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, honestly, I mean, you guys could talk forever and you communicate so well, but this week, I almost get the feeling that the way that you say yes to something, whether this is a contract, whether it's a client, whether it's new business, whether it's old business, there's something about the way that you speak this week that makes people kind of look at you and go, you don't seem sure what's going on. And maybe this is because you're not sure, but either which way, you're going to have to get clear on this, and quickly. This is why I say there's a lot of internal stuff going on for you guys this week. When it comes to your, come on brain, for those of you that are retired or no longer working, this week, you could be called upon to play mentor and or teacher. And you just want to make sure that whatever you're going to do, facts, figures, all of that stuff, pattern recognition even, all seem to be things that come under your banner, which is amazing. However, this week, some of the information that you may give is either outdated or it's wrong. Go back to the drawing board on whatever information you're asked to divulge or deliver, because there's something in it that isn't quite making sense, and you might not spot it until later. And what's worse, because we're now coming into September, although it doesn't happen this week, we are heading towards the next Mercury retrograde, the final one of the year, thank God. But it's, again, something to be aware of. When it comes to your love and relations, you've got the Justice card. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in relationships, it looks like something that is shared with you this week, right? You gain some new insight or some information. And I kind of feel like there's a part of you it's almost like you want to ignore this, and it may be where the partner has screwed up. It might be where, and the weird thing is, I get the feeling that you saw this coming, but you wanted to, give the benefit of the doubt, or maybe, be optimistic or whatever. Unfortunately, this may get a little bit more serious, or a little bit more stern at least, than anybody had planned for. And you may have to intervene. You may even have to make a commitment to doing something different, or certainly walking a different path. Now, that's not to say that I see you guys splitting, but there is a challenging conversation that's going to have to be had this week. And it's really going to push the relationship to its boundaries, I have to say. When it comes to those of you that are single, you could meet somebody through studies, through academia, through some sort of teaching in possibly a learning or a legal environment this week. And you're certainly interacting with somebody that's got smart, absolutely, and possibly somebody that's going to put you on your toes. For your... okay, this card's been quite active this week. You've got the Knight of Cups for your money and materials. So when it comes to your finances and your resources, again, if you're going to offer your services or you're going to offer to do something this week, you have to deliver. And if I'm completely honest with you, this week it does feel like you're splitting your focus maybe in too many directions. Just make sure that you can deliver on whatever it is that you're saying you can or are promising that you can. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this week I would be careful of overindulging on any liquid substances. It doesn't just mean alcohol. That could be coffee, it could be fruit juice, it could be that taurine, Red Bull stuff. Like this week, keep it in check, because if you are going to feel this, you'll probably feel it. It will either make you sluggish or you're going to feel this in your stomach, right? Again, not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice. You know the drill. When it comes to your home and environment, it looks like some of you are taking a breather from the home, or at least starting to look at maybe what the options are when it comes to home. And I think this could be a very interesting week for that. Well, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have have as best a week as you possibly can. With that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.